Okay, here I'd like to talk to you about organizing your advertising essay. You're starting to think about your topics. You're starting to think about, how do I work out this essay? How do I put this together? What does it look like when it's finished? I'm going to be giving you a couple sample student essays so that you can see what it should look like. But this will also help you. And this is what I call an essay outline. And what I've done is I've got the thesis statement and then the topic sentences for the supporting paragraphs taken out of the essay, and they should all line up because your essay should be it should be very focused and very clearly organized. When you take out your thesis, which is your main point for the whole thing, and you take out your topic sentences, which are the main point of just that one paragraph, that all should line up like an outline. And so what I've done is, these are from some other people's essays. One of these I think I used as an example for you. And what this has is just a clear organization. So let's look at the first essay here. She says, advertisers portray men, particularly fathers and husbands, as blundering, irresponsible, and incapable of completing domestic tasks properly without the assistance of a woman. And so that's her thesis. She's got a clear population group. She's talking about men. She's got a clear message about this. This is one message. Now, it may seem like, oh my goodness, she's got three things here, but all three are very closely related. They're really all about the same thing. So this is very good. Her first supporting paragraph will begin like this. Advertisements for dishwashing products are full of these messages. So she has broken her essay up into paragraphs not based on, something else, but based on what type of product that is being featured. So she starts with dishwashing products, and then her whole paragraph would focus on those types of commercials. Then she does another paragraph here where she transitions. Men aren't just shown to be incapable of operating kitchen appliances, though. They also appear to be poor at determining what's appropriate in a kitchen. So she goes from not being able to work the dishwasher or appliances to not knowing what's even appropriate in a kitchen. And so that's the next paragraph, and it's a slightly different focus. Every paragraph should have just one focus, one clear point that it's making. So that's very good. And then her third body paragraph, and you can have 3, 4, 5 body paragraphs. 3 is not a magic number. She happens to have 3. That's fine too. And in her third one, she says men are also portrayed as laughable in laundry advertisements. So she goes from the kitchen to the laundry room, but all of this is about domestic tasks. Very nice. Here's another essay. In this one, she says advertisers frequently portray women as crazy, aggressive, or paranoid. Again, those three really go together, so it's fine. You've got a clear population group, women. And then this is how she supports it. First topic sentence, first supporting paragraph begins this way. Today, advertisers are going too far to sell products by demeaning women and portraying them as highly paranoid and accusing. So that's her point. She would need to support that really well, and she did in that paragraph, and then move on to a new point. She transitions. She says, as if making women seem paranoid wasn't bad enough, which is what she just talked about, advertisers make them look crazy and aggressive. So this paragraph's about crazy and aggressive. Then she does a third body paragraph where she takes a slightly different look at crazy. And she says, even the most normal looking of mothers in advertisements are shown to be vindictive and even secretly crazy. So this is slightly different. Not just out there crazy, but these are normal seeming women in advertising. And they are being shown as maybe secretly crazy, or they've got issues too. They may look normal, but they're not. And so again, support for that. And then she takes it further with this paragraph. She says some advertisers take this even further and portray women as delusional. Very clear point. These women are shown talking to inanimate objects and even emotionally bonding with them. So very clear point she's making. They all fit with this and it goes nicely together. Each of these paragraphs would be fleshed out with examples, with details, with commentary from the author about it, explaining her point. All of that would be done, but this is the organization. This is how it's going to play out. Here's another one. He says, advertisers tell us that there is only one way to be a man, and that is through violence and overpowering women. As you can see, again, we have one clear population group, and then, of course, a clear message. Men being shown as dominant over women is a common and dangerous theme. Okay, so just a general point. That's fine. And in that, he talked a lot about, or he gave an example of a Dolce & Gabbana ad. So he transitions, still talking about the same issue, about men being shown as dominant over women, but he transitions by saying Dolce & Gabbana are not the only high fashion designers in the industry promoting male dominance, and then he shows others. So this would be two paragraphs, both about the same thing. The first paragraph featuring this brand, and then transitioning into, oh, but there are others, not just that one. Then he transitions from the dominant over women to something else. And he says, along with overpowering women, advertising promotes the idea that violence is associated with manhood. So here's his new point. That's fine. Clear examples in that paragraph. And then he continues this idea in a new paragraph by transitioning. Another frequent source of violence can be found in Old Spice commercials. So he spends a whole paragraph about Old Spice commercials. And then he goes beyond that and says, hey, it's not just commercials. We have print ads too that also promote violence as a necessary component of masculinity. Notice each of these states the point that he's making or transitions from one point to more examples of that point. So it's very clearly organized. No problems there. Here's another one. Yeah, no, I've got 5. Okay, here's a fourth one. This one was a unique one. I think I've only had one ever who did this topic. So interesting topic. She says, underneath the facade of marriage proposals, Valentine chocolates, and walks in the moonlight, advertising portrays women as materialistic creatures, easily satisfied by gifts. So that's her point about women. Now, you have to be careful about the materialism because pretty much any advertisement is probably going to do something about that because they're all promoting us buying things. So you have to be careful with that. I let her do this most of the time. I won't let you do just straight out materialism because they all are for that. And it's just, it needs more focus than that. But she focuses on the relationship aspect, which I thought was a new twist. And so here she says that women in advertisements for gifts often focus on the item rather than the person. So again, this is an issue about a relationship. She's not so much concerned about the man she's with or the partner she's with. She's focused on the item. Then her next paragraph, she says, the world of advertising is a strange place where the rules of romance come from fairy tales and women really are telepathic. The gift says everything the gift giver wants to say to her, so a man doesn't need to say a word. Here she talks about how gifts are used to replace conversation, used to replace communication in a relationship. So you see how she's continuing this idea of as a substitute for a real relationship, these material things will do the job. Then she says women in the commercials are often presented as vain, self-absorbed creatures. This again she talks about gifts in this too. It's not as clear in her topic sentence, so maybe this isn't quite as successful, but the way she links it later is just fine. And then her fourth one, men are often shown using gifts as an easy way out of an uncomfortable conversation or apology. Again, a gift as a substitute for a real relationship, for a real conversation, for real communication. And so this was quite interesting. Again, any of these that you like, any samples that you like that I have here, please feel free to do. She was not the first one ever to take on that topic. She won't be the last. You could do it too. Okay, and that would be perfectly fine with any of these. Okay, I do advise that you not use it word for word, but you can certainly use the idea. Here's a fifth one. While the primary goal of advertising is to sell products, the secondary message in many of them is that men are out of their element inside their households. Again, clear population group and clear message about that population group. He even used the term secondary message. Please, you do not have to use that term, okay? And in fact, don't just stick it in there, okay, to make sure that it's clear. It ought to be clear without that. But he put it in there, and it's not out of place. I think it's okay. But he's got a clear population group that's important, and a clear message about men that we can get from advertising. Here he starts with how commercials portray men as incompetent when it comes to cooking, cleaning, or even home improvement projects. So how they're often shown as incompetent no matter what the thing they're doing in the house is, they're incompetent. Even home improvement, which is supposed to be a man's domain. Furthermore, these incompetent men in ads need women to take care of them. I thought that was an interesting twist he added. So he showed commercials where they have some woman intervening to either save him from injury or take care of the mess he's made or something. And then he follows that with, since men are shown as needing a female caretaker. See that transition? That's really nice to start your paragraph with that, referring back to what you just talked about, and then leading into your new point. He says, it's not surprising that another message that advertisers send is that men are ill-equipped for parenting. So again, very nicely organized, good example of how you could organize your essay. And hopefully this has been helpful for you, giving you some ideas of how to organize your own.